It's Monday here, BraveNewCoin. That means it's Setup Monday. Let's take a look at some charts here, starting with the majors, drifting off into fantasy land of other layer one projects, I guess is a word you could use. So mainly with BTC and ETH, we mean reverted to the downside, overcorrected. We mean reverted to the upside and overcorrected. And now we're in the process of finding a happy middle after the bearish mean reversion, the bullish mean reversion. And as long as we stay above the cloud into October, I really don't care where price goes from here this entire month. In general, September is on backtesting, on seasonality, a very low return month. It's a very low positive month in general. Q3 is also not the best quarter on backtesting, on seasonality for price. We are up 26% since July, which at this point is a massive win, considering that just isn't the best time for BTC and crypto in general. So even where we stand here, we're still above the cloud-ish. We're still fine. Like, this isn't screaming mega bear doom. It doesn't look great, definitely, but it's not end of the world, skies falling type stuff just yet. Currently, cloud support sits around 41.5. Now, if over the next couple weeks we start drifting into the cloud, below the keychain, right? We make lower lows. We break 41, we break 40, we break 38. Then we can start to say, okay, maybe Q4 won't be this massive quarter that I think it'll be. At this point, we're resetting bearish momentum, we're resetting bullish momentum. We're just zeroing out everything we can, RSI, MACD, no divs anywhere, no nothing. That's fine, right? I'll take it. It's a win in my book. And as far as entries are concerned, you could say to yourself, I know September is going to be trash. I'm just going to buy every lower low. I don't care where it goes. Maybe you have a number at like 30, 29, whatever your max pain is, whatever your stop loss is, your personal trading style, whatever. But I'm just sort of blacked out this whole month, blacking out, whatever it is, because it historically is not a good month. And bullish entries, I'd be looking into October when the TK lines are closer together, prices above cloud, blah, blah, blah. I mean, even coming into this, the TK lines were getting quite separated, which is a deterrent for bullish continuation because it just says we're overbought. But at the same time, we were pushing highs everywhere. Alts were popping off. Like, that's why I added to the enzyme stuff at 52, right? It looked really good. And then a couple days later, just the thing falls off the table all at once. On the 12-hour, you could watch this, or just the daily singled, whatever you want to think of it in your head. The 12-hour give you an entry back here, which was even late for the chart pattern falling wedge situation. So you had the wedge, you had the reversal, you had the continuation above the cloud, and now you have a reset of that momentum. So as far as an entry is concerned here, you'd be looking for price above the cloud with bullish TK cross type of situation. And this, again, is painting 40-41 support in the near term if this thing has a full edge-to-edge on the 12-hour. And then on the 4-hour, this had not 1, 2, 3, 4 pushes up on the 4-hour. And right now it's below the cloud. So depending on how aggressive you want to be, how degen you want to be, on how much leverage and size, and whatever you want to do, you could watch the 4-hour and say, this might be messy. I might be wrong a few times, but right now we're definitely bearish. And so if this flips bullish, then I start to add to positions, open positions, use leverage, whatever it might be. For me, I don't want to really use leverage until we're free and clear in the daily cloud into October. Again, all of September to me is just a nothing month. Here's the 1050 MAs, which on backtesting perform extremely well. You can see it got you in down here. And if this does flip bearish, which again is fine, I could care less what happens in September. That's all the more reason to just jump out. And if this flips bullish into October, more power to you. Again, I'm backtesting, very powerful MA cross, and the 200-day moving average is down at 41.5 too. So we could even go lower to that 41.5 level and still be fine on like macro legacy, old school style TA. For ETH and a lot of these other coins, they still look fine, right? They're way above the cloud still. No risk of imminent doom or reversal. Doesn't look super exciting. It's kind of momentumless. If anything, this is potentially setting up for an ugly cup and handle situation The cup is already fully formed. Now we're working on the handle. And in general, you don't want these pushing below a 50% retrace. So in ETH's case, you don't want to see anything close below 2875, which is the key June here. So if this breaks below the cloud, then this pattern is nullified. It doesn't nullify the potential for a bullish Q4, but it does nullify the expectation that this is easily going to push to 5.3 to 6.1, whatever this is, at least 6K. Yeah, that's the expectation if this holds. If fees stay high, if DeFi dies off, if other layer ones outcompete because people can afford to trade and do stuff on them, that's going to be a big problem for ETH in the near term. But right now I'm watching this pattern and the daily cloud, which still looks fine. The 12-hour looks less fine, but it doesn't look bearish, right? You're not getting any bearish entries. You're just getting bullish exits here. And again, much like the BTC chart, if you're watching this on lower time frames, I would just be waiting for this crisscross on the TK lines. So it just crossed bearish. So the next trade you'd take is when this crosses bullish, which would probably also confirm the cup and handle type of chart structure there. LTC had a bit of a wacky and wild morning in the US here with a fake Walmart press release that got picked up by a bunch of news outlets, pumped the price quickly, dumped it just as quickly, and now the chart just looks basically like it never happened. This was bear flagging before, and it's still bear flagging, so nothing's really changed here, other than probably a lot of people got hosed on buying that fake news, but it's still in the cloud on the daily, and it's not like I would expect this to move to 260 or whatever the flat edge to edge is here. In my mind, when these have a push or an impulse up and then fail, I don't take chances with that. Now you could have added here, you can still add here and be fine with that as far as the target. But again, into October, maybe even late October, this isn't above the cloud. The cloud is not bullish. There's nothing here that's telling you to take a long trade other than the potential for that edge to edge setup. So this is neutral, meandering, perambulating nonsense. This is how it looked on the hourly, just straight up, straight down. We were barding for days this weekend, and just more barding. Barding is just where you go up and down like this, and you get this like Bart Simpson hair. And low time frames, that's probably what that looked like. Tezos also mooning, and again, the thing with these is they're up so much since the bottom. What is the expectation for continuation here? Do you expect a 2x, 5x, 10x? Not immediately, certainly. Again, this is how the cup and handle forms. You get people who were in from the bottom or buying from the bottom, starting to let go, as well as people who are trapped up here starting to let go. This forms a type of resistance. And then you get people who missed everything on the way up, buying at around 520, 525, and stuff like this has another run. Like, is it pretty? Is it perfect? No, but it's potentially ready for that handle phase of the move. Now, do I like Tezos fundamentally? Not really, but it doesn't really matter right now. Money's just rotating around everywhere to any coin with a pulse that's listed anywhere. FTM, again, this was the bear correction. This was the bull correction. And then everything after that is just FOMO insanity. So do I expect more out of this in the near term? Not really. This is beyond even cup and handle type of stuff. The mean reversion targets on the way down here are $1.50, like 55 cents. So unless you just expect this thing to be continuously bullish, it's just a hard sell for me to buy up here. If anything, AVAX looks more like a cup and handle, ready for higher highs. It had its pullbacks. It pulled back to the daily key June, found support, had a tweezer bottom using these settings. I have to plug the settings every once in a while, just make sure people are paying attention. But that 34 level did get tapped twice. And this wouldn't surprise me if it went for more. But if the entire market's sort of pausing, it probably isn't going to just mega moon on its own. Solana mega mooned over the past week. It hit the 183 MA multiplier. This is the 183 down here. This is the 5x that here. The only reason I'm paying attention to this was because on backtesting, it looked pretty good, right? Like, these only work to me if there's some sort of evidence, at least once or twice, that this was the bottom, this was the top. This was the bottom, this was the top. Doesn't mean it can't just cruise here for months. It just says, yeah, you got a pretty good opportunity based on MAs and math telling you, all right, this one's a little overheated, right? So doesn't shock me. Didn't shock me that this thing has started to relax a bit. And I wouldn't pile into EOS either, but it also wouldn't shock me if stuff like EOS starts to find some momentum just for rotation. I mean, it's down from its mean reversion. It's flat, it's ugly, right? It doesn't look like anything. But I think having this stuff on your watch list just to see, you know, is volume coming back? Does this break down, or does it actually start to go sideways and break up a little bit? Trend-wise, this looks like totally not everything I wouldn't touch ever, right? Below the Kijun, ready to burst below the cloud. This probably won't go anywhere. This probably will break down. But let's say it doesn't, right? Just I'd add it to a watch list if you're able to trade it, just to keep it on your radar. Because if Tezos can 10x or whatever it did from the bottom, this thing could easily go to 9 throughout September, you know, before the majors have their fun, which I think will happen in Q4. Lastly, I'll just mention the ETHBTC fund and DeFi portfolio I trade for Techemy Capital on Enzyme.finance, a non-custodial portfolio management tool where you can send ETH or USDC or just watch what I'm doing. Lately getting demolished by this downward price action, but you can see everything, including AUM, performance, allocations. You can see all the yield plays I'm in on Comp, Aave, and Yearn, and you can also see the trades in the trades tab down below. That's all for this one. Like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe, and happy trading.